It is Thursday, September 18th at 6 p.m. We are at the District Service Center in Cottage Grove, Minnesota. We would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the land of the Mdewakanton Dakota people. Mdewakanton means dwellers of the Spirit Lake. First item on the agenda is 1.0 roll call. Dana?
Louise Hines is absent. Ryan Clark is absent. Sharon Van Leer?
Here.
Eric Tessmer?
Here.
Melinda Doles?
Here.
Simi Petnaik?
Here.
Katie Schwartz?
Here. 2.0 Pledge of Allegiance, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3.0 is approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve an amended agenda adding 7.4 Woodbury High School Girls Hockey Co-op?
I so moved.
Second.
Moved by Sharon, seconded by Melinda. Any comments?
Oh, that a glitch.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 4.0 is comments to the board. We don't have any this evening, so we'll move on to 5.0, and that is consent items. All consent items are considered routine and non-controversial by the school board and will be approved by a single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. Prior to this meeting, board members have had the opportunity to review each item and may request for any item to be moved to an action item for individual consideration. That did not happen this evening, so can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Simi, seconded by Eric. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 6.0 is information items, and we do have one this evening, and that is 6.1, Summer Learning Update, and that will be presented by Jake Winchell, Director of Community Education.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Schwartz, members of the board, Superintendent Nielsen. Thank you for the opportunity tonight to highlight some of the incredible work that's happening across the district this summer. Summer is a unique time in education. It gives us a chance to extend learning, close some opportunity gaps, and provide enrichment experience that go beyond the traditional school year. Many of us know that the school buildings certainly do not shut down during the summer. This past summer, we saw students engaged in many different programs, in which we will highlight some of them here tonight. These summer programs help students build confidence, stay connected with their peers, earn credits, have a safe place to be, and to return to school ready for success in the fall. Tonight, you'll hear from several of our program leaders and staff who will share more about credit recovery, targeted services, extended school year, and Kids Club. What you'll notice across these reports is the incredible commitment by our staff to make these programs happen each summer. In addition to the leaders who make these programs happen, these programs are not successful without the support of nutrition services, transportation, health services, and of course our custodial teams. We're excited to give you a snapshot of our summer learning programs, and I'll kick things off with credit recovery. Credit recovery is coordinated by South Washington County Schools Alternative High School, led by Ashley Ruka and Susie Evans. Credit recovery this summer ran June 16th through the 27th. There are 467 students participating. Those students earned 567 credits over the course of the summer. For the second straight year doing this report, Woodbury High School led the way with the most credits earned. They earned 256 credits. Park High School earned 118 credits. East Ridge High School, 144 credits. Alternative High School, 48. The online school had 1 credit earned. To make this happen, it takes 4 site leads and 46 teachers. Just in comparison to 2024, when we did this report, there were 400 credits earned. So a nice jump this year in targeted services, in credit recovery, excuse me. For next year, I know they're looking to expand and to provide students with additional time to make progress when the school year is ended. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our special education coordinators, Andrew Bowes, Kris Carlson, and Mary Watts, to talk about extended school year.
Good evening. I'm Kris Carlson. I'm the special ed coordinator at Oltman Middle School. We're going to talk about our extended school year. Our extended school year this year ran, or ESY, ran for 3 weeks in July, from July 14th through July 31st. We run Monday through Thursday, so it's 4 days a week. We have 6 different locations that we run it at. Our first location is the District Program Center, where we have our early childhood. There we run 2 sessions each day for that time period. Then our elementary school, We have Gray Cloud Elementary, where we service many of our ASD programs, our autism spectrum disorder programs. We also have Cottage Grove Elementary, where we service the rest of that. For middle school, we house out of Cottage Grove Middle School, and then we also service through East Ridge High School and our Pathways program for our high school and our transition students. This year, we serviced just over 400 students, which is a little bit more than we did last year, and we are grateful to be able to do that. We had many staff that helped us out with that. For eligibility for this, we look, even starting now in our IEP meetings, at some different components, but mostly we qualify students off of regression and recoupment, whether they're able to come back after a break and within a reasonable amount of time recoup that knowledge. We also, in our IEP meetings, look at and determine what services those students will have throughout the summer and what goals they'll be working for.
Good evening, my name is Andrew Bowes. I'm the Special Education Coordinator at Lake Middle School. I'm going to talk to our instruction and our services that we have for extended school year. Our extended school year services do not just serve our academic needs of our students, but we serve the academic, social, emotional, behavioral, and transition needs of all of our kids. On top of that, we have several different service providers that provide a variety of services to our students during extended school year, including health service providers, speech language pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and blind vision impairment teachers.
Good evening, I'm Mary Watts. I'm the coordinator at East Ridge High School. Throughout the summer, the kids participated in project and experiential learning. There were a number of activities that were planned for them and materials prepped for teachers that could then be individualized per each child's individual goals. That allowed us to enhance the classroom instruction, move beyond worksheets, that kind of thing, and promote higher rates of engagement. And then the transition age kids, high school age through 22, could also have the opportunity to work and learn through partnership with Goodwill and SOWASHCO departments. We had kids helping with facilities, technology, and nutrition services. And then for next year, we're looking ahead to another 3 amazing weeks of programming, continued engagement in determining who's going to be eligible, and working toward progress on their individual goals, continued collaboration and partnership with our targeted services and Kids Club friends to meet the unique needs of all kids in the settings, and then another focus on engaging classroom practices and experiences that are high quality and meaningful to kids.
Thank you, extended school year. We continue to educate students for success across our district. So targeted services school programming was available for students entering grades 1 through 8. This program this year took place at Bailey Elementary School, Cottage Grove Elementary School, and Cottage Grove Middle School. We had sessions from July 7th through the 31st, and so we went a week longer than the extended school year programming. This year's summer school enrollment we saw a slight decrease in student participation of about 41 students, 2 at the elementary and about 39 at the middle school level. As you can look at the data chart here, we're seeing a trending in the right direction, and we're a little stagnant, but we're confident that we will continue to grow those numbers as the years progress. Targeted services instruction is designed to maximize student success and engagement. Elementary students engage in a research unit at each grade level, hands-on practice with grade level math concepts, and had STEM activities, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math, through discovery education. Social emotional learning is a requirement for targeted services, and so we make sure that our students have exposure to that curriculum and experiences on a daily basis. Our elementary teachers use Character Strong, which is a research-based social emotional learning resource, and that serves the purpose of strengthening classroom connections and focus on relationship skills. We do provide breakfast and lunch at all of our sites. The middle school program, students begin each day with a 20-minute home base or homeroom session, and then they rotate through a 3-day period that lasts about 50 minutes. And in that session, they have math, they have English language arts, and they also have an elective of choice. Learning activities include science, technology, engineering, and math, which we refer to as STEM, and they have some challenging activities with that. And then they also have some project-based activities to strengthen their learning and grow their learning. As we look ahead to 2026, we are currently planning locations for the summer of 2026. We do have construction that is consuming some of our spaces, but we're confident that we will find an ideal space that's going to meet the needs of our students, and then we will make sure that construction supports that and doesn't interfere with student learning, and student learning doesn't compromise or is not compromised by the construction. We may adjust the eligibility criteria based on the projected capacity with the goal of increased enrollment. The focus on high engaging activity-based curriculum and positive relationships will definitely continue. And with that, I will pass the baton to Amy Britt.
Good evening. My name is, excuse me, my name is Amy Bringman, and I'm the out-of-school time program manager who oversees Kids Club. So, Kids Club this summer, so Kids Club is our school-age childcare program. It was held at 4 sites this summer. So we had Gray Cloud, Crestview. That is not correct. So we had Gray Cloud, we had Red Rock, we had Liberty Ridge, and we had Woodbury L. And we also had a little bit at Woodbury Middle School. We had 195 students per day per site, so at about 800 students a day. We run Monday through Friday, and we're open from 6:30 in the morning until 6 p.m. in the evening. When you add that all up and you take about an average of 175 students each day, that's about 400,000 hours of contact time for students. So we have an amazing opportunity in the summer to really offer our kids some really great experiences and some opportunity for them to really practice those social emotional skills. It's for current grades, kindergarten through 5th, and in the summer they have to have completed kindergarten and will be going into 6th grade then. When we do our registration is in February, and priority goes to SOASHCO students first, which we really fill up with SOASHCO students. Other students could become part of the program, but we do fill with our SOASHCO students. Inclusion is very important in Kids Club and in our summer program. And so we have a 1 to 15 staff to student ratio, and we also have some reduced ratio staffing, so we can support needs of students who may need that extra added staff support. When we have students who have some needs, we work directly with the families on those. We can also work with our student services program, and we create some site support strategies for students so that our staff are able to share the same kinds of tools and resources, and we can align those with what families know works for students as well as what works for them during the school day. In Kids Club too, we do hire some nurses when we have, we usually have 1 nurse for the whole summer program, and then if we have some needs that require a nurse to do the procedures, we will hire nurses for those. But we are also delegated with, to be able to do some of those services with our nurses, district nurses, and we also do take in and distribute the medications to students. So Kids Club is fee-based. It's, parent funded. There are some resources available to families who might not be able to afford that fee, and so county tuition reimbursement is available for those who qualify. There's a military discount. We also offer an educational benefits discount, and then we do a sibling discount as well. There's also funding available through the extended day levy, and that does support our students with needs. And then we have a Great Start Compensation Support Payment Program, and that's through the state of Minnesota. And so programs that are certified, which we are through the state of Minnesota, can qualify for grants. And so we have to apply a monthly for this funding. Actually, it's shifted from a grant to a program now, so I should use that language. Can qualify for that funding. And then those funds go directly to the staff who work with students. So it goes to, it's to stabilize childcare, and so it's to help support having qualified and continued staff in our program. So as I was just saying, we're certified through the state of Minnesota, and that means that we have to qualify based on some health and safety standards, and that we are inspected annually on those. And so the other thing that's interesting about that, and with Kids Club, is that we're required as staff to have federal fingerprint background checks every 5 years. So any staff that works in Kids Club has to pass those first. So we take the district fingerprint background, or district background check, and then the federal fingerprint background check too. We are also proud to say that we are accredited through Ignite After School, which is recognized again through the state, and the DCYF in Minnesota. And so we're in the process, I should say. And that the difference between certification and accreditation is that certification really focuses on those health and safety standards, and accreditation goes into more of the best practice and high quality standards for offering child care programs. And then sites, if some sites, as we're trying to catch up through that accreditation process, it was a new process that began in 23-24, and we were one of the first districts to participate in that. But all of our programs go through a continuous program improvement process every year that aligns with that. So staffing, right? We had 175-ish staff, the regular staff every day this summer, not including our subs, and really investing in our team and our staff. Our staff are amazing. They're 11 and a half hours a day taking kids on field trips and making sure they have breakfast and lunch and all those good things. But we take time to invest in our staff with our training. So we do have to provide everyone with a required 6 hours amount of training through the certification. And then we do a lot of things. We do a basic training for our para staff. We do on-site orientations with our staff. We have an all-program training session, and then we do a special new orientation for Kids Club staff when they join us. So when you see us doing all the fun things on site here, the areas that we're focused on, these are our 8 learning areas, and these were developed with our families and our students and our staff. So these were the areas that were considered most important to our community as far as what they felt that kids should be participating in, and they align with best standards through our accreditation process. And we just know that kids need to have all these great, wonderful things in the summer. They need the challenge, they need mastery, they need leadership, they need those opportunities to connect with one another, they need time to play. And so when you see our programs and you see our activities, these are really the purposes of the different activities that are planned and offered to the students. And this is what it starts to look like then. If you were to come to a Kids Club site in the summer, this is what you would see. This is an example of some expectations and routines, and you'll see that there's a lot of positive reinforcement. There's a kindness tree example here, and so really focusing on what we want. This is also part of our routine. Every day there's a morning meeting and an afternoon meeting because it's a long day. And so all of the sites had a daily slideshow so they could practice their greetings. They could do a little exercise. They could see what was going to be for lunch. They could do the weather. Kids could lead these different things, and then we could get the messages out to the site, and everybody would be on the same page. We do a lot of service and community service, and so we collaborate with Sowashco Cares, and through the Sowashco Cares Avid Kids Club project this last year, we had supplies and backpacks to stuff so that kids would have school supplies when they came, and then we'll have guest readers come on site too, and so we like to get community service folks to come in and be part of that too. And here's some examples of kids being able to do some leadership. So they do bucket gardens, and at the end of the summer they had a nice pesto party, but I think they did have to go out and get a little more basil. I'm not sure it all made it through that hot summer. You can see there's a cleanup crew, so our older kids, our everyday leaders, you can sort of hire them out and have them do some jobs for you, and they have regular jobs on the site. That bottom picture is actually a mini golf course, and so the kids, you can see, get really creative. They just get a lot of materials and start to develop and create those in teams. And the one on the right there is a robot, so they had to design their robot, what their robot would do, and then create their robot. So I'm sure that robot's probably a little tired after that summer. So here are kids having an opportunity to have voice and choice. So this is really important that they have a lot of opportunity to give direction to what the program looks like. So there's an example of a planning student planner where the student plans the activity. A staff probably helped a little bit with this one, probably took a few notes for that one. It's a kindergarten through second grader lesson plan. There's a little magic show there as part of our talent show. Families will come in and watch that. Kids are playing there, and just the opportunity for them to really express themselves. Field trips are a really big part, so there's a lot of exploration and new experiences, and sometimes these are things that they're not able to do with their families at home, so we take pride in being able to take kids out and see what's out in our communities. And then really Kids Club is about a lot of fun. So we have an annual color run. When we have our annual carnival at the end of the year, we're really lucky when the fire department can come out and give us a little spray. So really trying to embed a lot of fun in everything that we do. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions?
I do. So, Jake, were you the one who presented
Credit
credit recovery? Okay.
Yep.
So 567 credits were earned over the course of the summer. What are the classes that kids were? I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I totally flaked on sending this in ahead of time.
That's okay. It's a hard question for me to answer. I'm presenting on behalf of Ashley and Susie, so I don't know the specifics of that, but I can certainly get you that answer.
Well, yeah, what is sort of like, I guess, the primary credits that need to be recovered? Subject areas? Yeah, subject areas. Likely English, math. Okay. And then do we know what kind of impact it has on, because I know that these kids have to take these credits to graduate, right? So have we seen that it's had a positive impact on the kind of what their following school year looks like, and what kind of impact does that have?
I'm just going to say our goal would be, when we talk about credit recovery and students' opportunities to recover credits, is that we don't want it to snowball too much. And that's why there are opportunities throughout the year, the summer, and I believe we're coming up on a period here in a short time where students can access credit recovery again. Because once they get 10 to 15, more than a year behind, it's really, really difficult to stay on track. So yeah, I think we have a great rate of students recovering and then hopefully getting back on track.
I mean, I'm just impressed. This is like 11 days, and there's a weekend in there, correct?
Yeah.
Like and so you said next year you're looking to potentially expand that time?
That was the comment that I got, yep.
Okay.
To provide
and
more opportunities.
Would that be for children to do more credit recovery, or just to give them like a deeper understanding of the credit that is being recovered?
Yep, I think the opportunity to recover more credits, but also not to be so rushed to get through it. And when I asked what's the difference in some of these high schools earn more credits than others, and the answer was attendance. So the more that they're there, the more time that they spend there in class, they're recovering more credits.
Okay. Do we see, well, I can ask this later, but if we see, does it bear fruit for attendance during the school year following? But I think that might be something that needs to be looked up and not known. So that's what I had for you.
Thank you.
And then, thank you. And then for Mary? Yes. You were talking about experiential projects that
Yes.
kids were doing. Can you describe one of them for us?
Yeah, so there were a lot of themes throughout the weeks of summer. So there would be science projects that teachers could easily apply. Maybe there was a cloud experiment that I remember specifically that teachers could then apply English, math, science standards all to that same project and be able to adapt it to meet each individual's needs. So you guys did clouds in elementary, I know, or in the middle school, right? I know we did it also in the high school level. So having those basic lesson plan templates available for the teachers that came in for such a short period of time freed them up to then really individualize what it was that they were presenting to kids. And then we had paraprofessionals to support that differentiation. So the cloud one was a big one. There was a rainbow experiment that I remember as well. And then they would also tie in art projects to the same thing. So it was very thematic in nature and also really engaging for kids.
Cool. I mean,
It was great.
I just heard experiential project, and I was like, I would like to do one.
I love ESY. It's the highlight.
And then, is there any, I guess for you or Tyrone, or I don't know who knows the answer. Is there any, because targeted services is a specific student population, ESY is a specific student population. Is there any overlap between these populations?
There can be overlap. So a student, based upon their needs, they could be qualifying for targeted service and ESY. To participate in the ESY, it has to be written into their individualized education plan ahead of time. And so they get
So
that.
it would have to be written in now for them to do, or sometime this school year for them
Yeah.
to do ESY
Correct.
next summer.
Correct.
But targeted services will just be kind of does that happen in April or May when you're like, oh, this?
We start the identification process in January, and
Oh,
then when
okay.
they come to the winter conferences, that's when we solidify who's going to participate.
Okay. And so for kids who are eligible to participate in both, do they tend to participate in both, or do they pick one or the other?
Listen, it's one or the other.
Okay.
One or the other.
Thank you. That's all my
I
question.
think ideally, when we think about Kids Club at the programming that was discussed outside of credit recovery, is we do like to see that there aren't walls put up and that we can service and support kids across, because we do have some students that go to targeted services, but then also access our Kids Club programming before and after school. And so really thinking about the location of those programs so we can best service them.
Any other questions?
Yeah, that brings me to a question I have about Kids Club. So as far as when you're talking about children that are going to Kids Club that have an IEP and have more significant needs, I know during the school year they go to whatever school that they're at, but in the summer, is it some type of like where those kids that have more needs are go to us clustered at a specific site more, so there's less inclusion specialists that are needed, or how does that work out?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So they can sign up for whichever site makes the most sense for their families, right? And so we have kids with all different kinds of needs at different locations. And we have the same types of staffing that are there. We do have, it's called an inclusion site specialist position that we have. So they are folks who have some more experience in working with students with needs and also are more part of our training for inclusion practices. And so we do have at least one of those at each site, usually more. And then we don't know exactly how a student is always going to react when they come into Kids Club in the summer. It looks very different than a school day. So the school day, they might need lots of supports because the demands are different. And when it comes to Kids Club, where you have more choice and more freedom and you don't have to have certain things done at certain times necessarily, then it could be different. And then also, sometimes that structure is a little more difficult too, right? And when we go to these really long days. And so we have some staff who are available that can just be put in place to help it and support students with needs.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to 7.0, and that is our action items, and we do have four this evening. Our first one is the 7.1, and that is proposed policy changes, and that will be presented by Julie Nielsen, Superintendent.
Good evening, and thank you. The policies being brought forward, there are 8 policies, 1 policy in the 700 series around transportation, and then 7 policies in the community education area or the 900 series. And so this evening, I am asking for approval. If you recall, September 5th at our workshop meeting, we reviewed those policies. And so tonight, I am asking for approval on those 8 policies.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Sharon, seconded by Eric. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to 7.2, and that is the preliminary levy for pay 2026, presented by Julie Nielsen, Superintendent, for Kris Blackburn, Director of Business Services.
I said, Kris, how could you leave me? I'm sure Kris is tuning in at home, so hello, sick Kris. You're going to notice my name is up there, so I think Dan probably was at home watching, really surprised, like, whoa, Julie is now the Director of Business Services. But here we go. This should not be new for the board, as we had a presentation last meeting, but I am asking for approval of the preliminary levy, which we have to do by September 30th. As you are aware, we are asking for board approval to the maximum. This allows us to reflect any adjustments to our levy that we may get from the Minnesota Department of Education. After September 30th, we know that the levies may go down, but they may not go up. And so we ask for the cap so that we can work within that. So this evening, I am asking for approval on that. And then just a reminder to the school board that in December, we will hold a truth in taxation hearing and approve that final levy once all the numbers are secured.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Simi, seconded by Sharon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 7.3 is our election judges, and that will also be presented by Julie Nielsen, Superintendent, for Kris Blackburn, Director of Business Services. I'll read the whole thing.
Thank you. In her absence, it's me. This evening, I am asking for approval for the election judges for November 4th. In your packets, you are going to see Exhibit A. Exhibit A, if you look closely at that, you're going to see the polling places that are here in Cottage Grove and Newport. And that is because the City of Woodbury polling places are actually being done differently because it is a special election and it allows for the city to appoint those election judges. So this evening, in your packets is a list of judges. There is a resolution, and I'm asking for approval of those election judges.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Sharon, second by Eric. Any comments? This is a resolution, so we need a roll call, and it will be a moment. Apparently, we do not have a microphone in the back this evening.
Eric Tessmer,
Yes.
Sharon Van Leer,
Yes.
Melinda Doles,
Yes.
Simi Petniak,
Yes.
Katie Schwartz.
Yes. Motion passes. And now we have 7.4, and that is our Woodbury High School Girls Hockey Co-op, and that is presented by Christine Schaefer, Assistant Superintendent.
Good evening, Chair Schwartz, members of the board, Superintendent Nielsen. Tonight I'm requesting your approval for a new girls hockey cooperative between Woodbury High School and St. Croix Prep for the 25-26 season. As you may recall, at your July 18th meeting, you approved dissolving the larger girls hockey co-op between Woodbury High School and multiple schools. At that time, we agreed that if St. Croix Prep could not find another partner, Woodbury would be willing to reestablish a co-op for 1 year. Since then, St. Croix Prep has been unable to secure another cooperative partner. This agreement would allow their students continued access to girls hockey while giving the school more time to find another long-term solution or communicate to families the next steps. This partnership is consistent with Minnesota State High School League guidelines and ensures the students who want to play have the opportunity to play at St. Croix Prep. Therefore, this evening, I'm asking for your approval for the cooperative agreement between Woodbury High School and St. Croix Prep just for this one next year.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Melinda, seconded by Simi. All those in favor?
Wait, can I just ask a question real
Oh,
quick?
yeah, sorry. Any comments?
So my one question is, at the end of this hockey season, would we then have to vote to dissolve it, or would it automatically dissolve? Or
We would have to vote to dissolve
We
it.
would have to, so it becomes in effect, and then it will stay in effect until
Yes.
we choose. Okay. Yep.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Now we'll move on to 8.0, and that is our superintendent report.
Thank you. Just to share with the board and our community, because at this time of the school year, we get a lot of questions for that next year's calendar. We are in the process of drafting and getting feedback on our 26-27 school year calendar with the hope of bringing that recommendation back to the board November 6th for final approval on the 20th. So please stay tuned. We just had our first meeting this week, and so we hope to get that turned around in the next 4 weeks and brought back to the board for final approval. District leadership is also in its initial stages of drafting our community survey to get input from district families and community members at large. And if you recall, as a board, we agreed that every 3 years we would do the Morris Leatherman. Peter Leatherman would conduct that survey. It was last conducted 3 years ago, and if you recall, it was right after our failed bond. And that survey provided us with some great information about how we moved forward. And obviously, we were successful then with our $200 million bond, really utilizing a lot of strategies and a lot of the feedback we heard from our communities and parents. So we hope the survey would be conducted in November with the results, the full result packet coming back to the board and to the community in January or February. And then finally, September is Minnesota School Board Recognition Month, and so if you see some of the cellophane up here, the state's theme this year is a guiding light for student success. We would like to extend a message of gratitude to Katie, Simi, Melinda, Eric, Sharon, and of course Louise and Ryan, who are not with us this evening, for their work serving on the board and representing the students, staff, families, and community members of South Washington County Schools. Your advocacy, leadership, and commitment are valued and make a difference every day. Thank you for your dedication and the pride you take in our school district.
On to 9.0, and that is our future meeting dates. October 2nd, 2025 is a school board workshop meeting here at the District Service Center at 6 p.m. Then October 23rd is a school board business meeting, also here at the District Service Center at 6 p.m. And with that, 10.0, we are adjourned.